What I see today with this bill, however, is an opportunity to confront some of the same problems that were implicit in Section 377. In fact, 377 itself is part of what we are trying to overthrow with the Rights of Transgendered Persons Bill. The irony is that in India, there has always been place in mythology for people of different gender identities, different sexual orientations. Indian history has shown no example of prejudice against these people. On the contrary, in the Mahabharata, we read about Shikhandi, who, as we know, in the end got rid of Bhishma, this great hero. We also know about the whole concept of the Ardhanarishwara. After all, the idea of even God is half man and half woman. Many of us will remember how the Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh 30 years ago, Shri N.T. Ramarao, dressed up as Ardhanarishwara and surprised his followers. But this was seen as very much in keeping with national traditions in our country. Unfortunately for us, the British came and they passed laws in the Indian Penal Code and after that have criminalized a whole lot of human behavior and human reality that in India have not been criminal. It is ironic to see the self-appointed defenders of Bharatiya Sanskriti on the treasury benches now acting as the defenders of the worst prejudices of British Victorian morality. All the prohibitions that the ruling party so fondly clings on to today, that we have seen in their exhibition of prejudice half an hour ago, all of these are legacies of British colonial rule and have no roots in Indian practice or in Indian ethos. I want to stress, Mr. Chairman, that in modern India, the Supreme Court took the first step in 2014 to recognize the third gender, confirming their right to identify themselves as a third gender or a gender different from that assigned to them by their biological birth. In the case of the National Legal Services Authority versus the Union of India and others, the Supreme Court actually talked about the bias against such individuals who identify themselves as transgender persons in our society. And it talks about their unjust exclusion from the social, economic and cultural activities of our society. So the Supreme Court of India has upheld the importance of the gender role in securing a person's identity in our society, and therefore, if you want in this Parliament to preserve the rights of Indian citizens, then clearly gender rights are also a fundamental part of such rights. Unfortunately, we are saddled with a government and a ruling party whose members want to condemn them to the ghetto of discrimination, abuse and violence. I plead with the honourable members here and with you, Mr. Chairman, to pass this bill as passed in the Rajya Sabha, to send from this House a proper signal to the rest of the country and to the nation that we belong in the 21st century, that we are a humane society, that we will treat our people, whoever they are, every Indian citizen will be granted the same rights, and we will treat them with fairness, with dignity and with justice.